Hello and welcome to another interesting edition of your favorite magazine show, sports magazine show on television, Sports Vision 360. I'm Donald Agbabobo. As usual, we're going to take you into the ever exciting world of sports to give you the latest happenings as to explore all the intriguing stories that have been making the round in the ever exciting world of sports. And joining me in doing that as usual is no other than Austin Arume. Austin, it's good to have you on the show today.
Well, it's good to be here, and I'm delighted to be on the show today.
Well, a lot to talk about. We'll be talking about the Nigerian Professional Football League, or Nigerian Premier Football League, and of course talking about the NPFL. And we saw also talking about some latest happenings as regards misfortune that have befallen some footballers. We had Daniel Alves was sentenced to 4 years imprisonment, and of course Paul Pogba was recently banned for 4 years for doping. So all these things happen to top football stars. We shall be talking about them, and of course preparations for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. The Super Eagles, are they going to be set? It appears we don't have a coach presently because I understand that Jose Pizarro's contract ended yesterday, and taking a look at his ex-handle, he has already said that he has left his position as Super Eagles coach. But we know what that means. It just means that his contract has ended, not that he has actually is done and dusted with Nigeria. We shall be talking about that, especially given the fact that Nigeria's potential opponent or upcoming opponents in World Cup qualifiers, talking about South Africa, will be playing friendly matches against the likes of Algeria, and even Zimbabwe will be playing in a four-nation tournament in March. So Nigerian opponents are getting set. The only friendly match that so far we're aware of was against Argentina. It has been cancelled. Are there other plans in place? We should talk about all this in the course of the show. Plus a look at the performance of Nigerian players in their various clubs in Europe now that they are back from the Nations Cup. Are they faring? One name is actually coming to mind in this period. No other, apart from Victor Osimhen, who we already know that is one of the best in the world. There's this George Ilenikena who plays for Antwerp. He's been among the goals in recent times. Only yesterday he scored a brace as Antwerp beat Ostend to go qualify for the finals of the Bender Club. All this and more on the show today, so sit back and enjoy yourself. We'll go on the short break. When we return, we'll go full throttle on Sports Vision 360 this beautiful Friday. Stay with us. Welcome back, still Sports Vision 360, and we'll start with the NPFL, where Enyimba of Aba have moved to the top of the table after a 4-0 bashing of Gombe United. Well, Enyimba started the season rather very slowly, and I think this is the first time they are going top of the table this season, and it appears that they are hitting form at the right time. Austin, it's a coincidence here, the return of Finidi George from the Nations Cup. Has it had, is it as a result of that, or it's been or the momentum has been building, and we're just seeing the result now?
Yeah, I believe it's not actually a coincidence. I believe that the momentum, is has gotten to that stage where you get to see the best of Enyimba International. For me, I think I like what Enyimba has done so far. It's actually wanting to bring in a coach. Talking about when they brought in Finidi George, and they were not getting the result. Like if you recall, last season they didn't even get to qualify to play continental football. But look at the way they are playing this season. They're showing that consistency.
I think they did. No, they won the league, the Super 8.
They won the
Super
Super 8. They won the Super 8. Yeah, they qualified for the Champions League, but they were not so.
They didn't qualify for the group stage.
The group stage of the Champions League, but they were not so impressive, so to say, especially at the later stages of last season Premier League. Because you look at how it was, I think it was an abridged version of the league, and when you are playing in that league setting, there's always that tendency for team to actually switch or tweak within a team they were not particularly impressive. But if you look at the way they are playing now, it seems like that patience, so to say, is beginning to pay off for them at this particular point in time. Just like you said, they didn't start the season so well, but they seem to be picking up the pieces, and they are picking up points in home and away. I think last weekend they won away from home, if I'm not mistaken. So you look at what the club has done. For me, it seems like Inba is one club that at the moment they are beginning to put a structure together, unlike every other club that's playing in the league at the moment.
Another club that's actually gathering momentum or doing very well at the moment is Rangers International. They beat Doma United away from home last weekend, and midweek they also won. So 2 matches back to back. But coach Fidelis Lechuku is saying that they are not title contenders. He's just trying to be modest. It's good to see Rangers also doing very well at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's actually good to see Rangers doing so well. When you look at their pedigree, look at the league. When you talk about Shooting Stars, you talk about Rangers, you talk about Enyimba, you talk about Kano Pillars. These are elite club as far as the Nigerian Professional Football League is concerned. And there was a point where Rangers were not competitive. They were not actually when it comes to fighting for the title. For the past 10. I can't even remember the last time I actually have seen Rangers competing for the title. But maybe the coach is trying to actually remove that pressure from the player. But if you ask me, I feel like they are in the title challenge, because when you look at the Nigerian Professional Football League, even the club in 13th position is actually in contention to win the title,
because there's point difference. It's not that
Yeah.
much. And that's why for teams like Atlant, who are at the bottom of the table, and they may still survive if they can start winning.
Yeah.
I understand that the management of the team is already taking action, trying to get them to perform by placing players and officials on half salary. But what would I do that? The reverse should have been the case. Increasing their salary is to motivate them. Now I put them on half salary. They were eating very well. They could not play. Now they're not eating very well.
Yeah.
Pay them to perform. I don't understand the psychology anyway.
Yeah.
But that's the way it operates in Nigerian Football League. But is this the best way to go?
That's not the best way to go at this point, because when you are in this kind of crisis, what you need most of the time is motivation. You need motivation to actually pull this player out from that position that that they are in. And when you start bringing up issues like this, I'm sure probably maybe the management of Heartland International that decided that, okay, let's just go down and face the consequences, because I can't actually understand the rationale behind that kind of decision. When you're supposed to be motivating the players, you are demotivating them. I don't think that
if you want to change the coach, change the coach.
Yeah.
Want to take other actions, not at this affecting the motivation of players. For me, I feel it's the wrong way to go. Anyway, so much about Nigerian Professional Football League. Shooting Stars beat Insurance 1-0. It's a few years ago in the 70s and 80s, this would have been the top fixture of the day.
Yeah.
Insurance versus Shooting
Stars.
It's no longer the case. But then these two teams are still there. Old Warriors never died.
Yeah.
Shooting Stars won 1-0. And Abia Warriors also beat Kwara United 1-0. Well, we'll go on a short break now. When we return, we'll switch gear as we talk about some other events making the rounds in Europe, especially this recent spate of misfortune befalling some of our top football players. Talking about Daniel Alves, who was sentenced to prison for rape, and of course Paul Pogba, who was banned for 4 years for doping. Shall be talking about this in the course of the show after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back, still Sports Vision 360, and we'll be looking at some recent development in the world of sports. Not too palatable, if you ask me, because these are supposed to be sports icons or football icons. If you ask me, players that are role models, and many of us have come to know, eulogize over the years.
Yeah.
Good footballers, world-class footballers in their right. Talking about Daniel Alves and Paul Pogba. For Daniel Alves holds the record of the most decorated player that has won the most championship trophies.
Yeah.
But I think he's second to Messi now.
Yeah.
Messi, I think has gone past him now. But Dani Alves is up there amongst soccer greats. And this case has been on since January last year. Then finally decided and sentenced to, I think, 5 years or so. And well, he says he's going to appeal the situation, but we know that when it gets to this situation, early before the decision are overturned.
Yeah.
But for Dani Alves, very unfortunate.
Yeah, I think it's so unfortunate for him, for someone with such a pedigree, and when you're supposed to be enjoying your retirement, when you're supposed to be thinking about, your next move, as someone who has done so much for football, and you are faced with this kind of situation. I think it's actually quite a sad one, coming from coming as regards to Daniel Alves.
And for Pogba too, Dublin, this is another case that he has not admitted. He's still saying that he's innocent, that he didn't take any performance enhanced substance, and then the verdict has come out. He says he's going to go as far as CAS as well to prove his case, but not too good news.
Yeah.
But World Cup winner and one of the best players that we've seen in the game in the last couple of years, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think it's actually another disappointing one, if you ask me. And even if you are going to go to CAS, the time this thing will take. Imagine the time it has taken for this decision to actually go. A lot of people have even forgotten that Pogba is a footballer. I can't even remember the last time I saw Pogba playing football. So imagine the time that's taken for this decision to be taken. So before you go through all this process all the way to CAS, and at the end of the day, I feel like Pogba might not actually get that decision in his favor, because just like you said, there's always hardly you ever see this decision get overturned, which leads us to where I was actually heading to, the fact that sometimes as a footballer you need to actually look at your lifestyle. You need to look at the things you do. You have to be very, very careful as a footballer.
I think that's the word.
Yeah.
Very careful, because like the Dani Alves case, well, probably as a footballer you just get careless.
Yeah.
You have the wealth, you have the money to splash around, and just feel you could get away with anything. Just one little mistake.
Yeah.
That does not define him as a person. That does what happened to Pogba defines Pogba.
Yeah.
We could also look at the whole thing, that the entire scenario about footballers that has to do with pressure.
Yeah.
Many of them are falling short of expectations in recent time.
Yeah.
We're talking about Pogba, we're talking about Dani Alves. We also know of those that have also been falling, that have also been involved in match fixing, and also betting. Gambling, betting not as in betting as a crime, betting as in betting in a game in which you are involved in. You have the power to influence. We're talking about likes of Alessandro Tonali and Ivan Toney. They just returned. Coach Ivan Toney has served his ban, but it cost him a lot. It cost him a place in England World Cup squad. And so such things, when you look at going back now, it could have been different for him. If he had played in the last World Cup, probably it would have been a different trajectory for his career. And Tonali, we don't know how good he will be when he comes back. Whether we're able to pick up the pieces of his career. So by the time you look at all these things, the life of a footballer, you begin to look at the pressure they're under and stuff.
And it's not only the player that is going to be affected. Sometimes the club as well. They lose their services, and you're talking about where he should have been. If he was to be available, you also have to look at Brentford as a team, where they should have been if they had Toney playing in the team. You talk about Newcastle as well, where are they supposed to be if they had Tonali playing in the team? Remember this Newcastle team, they started very well, especially in the Champions League, but then those last games where they don't have some key players available. We saw what happened at the end of the day. They were not able to make it past the group stage of the UEFA Champions League. So you look at these things. Sometimes the consequences is not only on the players, even the clubs, the family members, and even the agent as well. You all get that consequences of the action of that particular player.
Well, so much we can only sit here and talk about those things and the onus is on the players to ensure that they live above board and be very careful, like Arme said, because sometimes you will not plan anything sinister or anything bad, but because you're a footballer, it gets blown out of proportion
Yeah.
and it takes a different dimension. Well, so much about this topic. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll look at the situation of teams with the Super Eagles coaching position. Is Pizarro going or is he going to stay? That's the question everybody is asking as of today. He says he's no longer Super Eagles coach because his contract officially ended yesterday. We'll talk about that after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back, still Sports Vision 360 on Wonderland Television. Well, the Super Eagles were still enjoying the memories of the last African Cup of Nations, which the Super Eagles did so well. But then, life must go on. We cannot keep on basking in the euphoria of that performance because a lot of things coming up. World Cup qualifier starts in June, and most teams have already started preparation looking ahead to that. I can tell you for one that South Africa have lined up series of friendly matches, and one of the teams they're going to play is Algeria. And even Zimbabwe, another opponent of Nigeria in the same group, will be taking part in the Four Nation tournament that will also include Malawi, Kenya, and Zambia. That will be sometime in March. Nigeria was due to play against Argentina in the friendly match, but that match has been cancelled. We're waiting to see if the Super Eagles or the NFF will come up with an alternative for arrangement for the Super Eagles for them to take advantage of that FIFA window. But then the big question is, even if Nigeria has a match to play, who will be in charge of the Super Eagles? As of today, as we speak, Jose Peseiro no longer Super Eagles coach. Not that because he has declared that he doesn't want to, because officially his contract has ended. But then who says he cannot come back and continue? In fact, we understand that the NFF has already offered him a contract, but even at that, he still to say $50,000. I saw there. Is that not how do I put it? A non-starter, if you ask me.
Well, I think when you are offering a contract to a coach or even a player, sometimes you have to be very careful. You have to actually offer what you are going to be consistent with. It's actually good that you offer the coach a very good contract, but then the question is, if you give the coach that kind of contract, will he be able to continue paying that coach that humongous amount of money? I've seen in the past where coaches were being owed. Talking about Super Eagles coaches, so I think if the NFF is coming out with 50,
but after what he achieved with the Nations Cup, doesn't he deserve a raise?
Well, I think it deserves.
And given the fact that he met the requirement,
yeah,
the conditions you set for him,
yeah,
that will trigger off a new contract. So don't you think that even if you have to offer what you can pay, but they believe that if you want something good, you're ready to pay for it.
Yeah.
After all, I think Algeria offered him something about 970 or 90. So we should be looking at that range as well. Because even if he ends up not getting the Algerian job, because I understand that they are much better in Petkovic, former coach of Switzerland.
Yeah.
But that one too is not because they've not actually made any announcement.
Yeah.
So you could still say that he has a hand there as well. So if you don't want to lose him to your rivals, I think it's very important that you up it up. Except Pizarro is ready to take up the offer at that price, because as you know, Super Eagles is a very, very interesting team.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to coach Super Eagles because you know that with Super Eagles you have the materials to work with to achieve your dream as a coach.
Yeah, I think it will take someone who is patriotic so to say, to accept, the offer, that kind of offer when you know that, someone is offering you something better somewhere. And Pissarro is not in Nigeria, but sometimes.
He has a national honor. So, with that one, you should be able to consider us.
Another reason again that a coach might want to accept that kind of offer, probably because of maybe the attachment he already has with the players. I think with what I've seen so far, the players, they respect him, and he might want to actually stay on. Having said that, when you have a coach that has actually achieved that benchmark that you've set for him, that have been able to clear all that, just like you said, it deserves something better. It deserves it raised, so to say. And if the NFF is not offering that, I don't actually know what's happening behind the scene. Probably it's as a result of maybe this is just the beginning of the negotiation. So
as time goes on.
Yeah, as time goes on.
But the danger is that if you don't talk well, somebody else may snap him up.
Yeah.
So because you understand a lot of countries, a lot of teams, he has a lot of offers. He said by himself that he has up to 7 offers. So we know he has offers, but we'll tell you up to 7 remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But then, who says if you don't act fast, you may end up not getting the person. But if you ask me, I also want to, if I can advise Coach Pissarro, sometimes they say the devil you know is the devil you don't know. You know what you will get.
Yeah.
You know that even if you win by 5 years, if you don't play well, we'll criticize you.
Yeah.
So you should be used to that by now.
Yeah.
And you know that we will praise you to high heavens if you win, and we'll appreciate you.
Yeah.
And you are very used to these players now, and I'm sure you have a target as a coach. Probably all those things should come into play in your in making your decision.
Yeah.
Because with Algeria, you don't know what to expect actually.
Yeah.
At least you are used to Nigeria, and good enough, Nigeria still wants you.
Yeah.
So why don't you go for it? That's my honor. Anyway, the final decision has to do with Pissarro, and I hope that this issue gets sorted out, because like I said, the other teams in the World Cup qualifying group are already preparing. We need to get the coaching situation sorted once and for all. We'll go on another break. When we return, probably wrap it up on the show with a look at the performance of Super Eagles players for the various clubs in Europe. Stay with us. Welcome back, still Sports Vision 360 on Wonderland Television. As we wrap it up on the show quickly on Super Eagles Watch, the biggest name is Victor Osimhen. He has scored in all the matches he has played since he returned from Nations Cup. The Champions League against Barcelona, Cagliari over the weekend, midweek against Sassuolo, he scored a hat-trick. And so he has now scored, I think, 11 goals in 15 appearances for Napoli this season.
Yeah.
So I thought he said he was having a bad season. And I just got 11 goals, 15 matches.
Yeah. Well, I think when you look at Napoli now, I'm sure that they will be appreciating, Victor Osimhen, the more. When he was at the Nations Cup, you saw the number of games that they lost. And the fact that in that game against Barcelona it ended 1-1. I think midweek as well against Cagliari. Weekend, against Cagliari it ended 1-1. And in both occasions it was Victor Osimhen who scored. So imagine if Victor was not available for these 2 games, probably it would have been another loss for Napoli. And it was actually another impressive performance again against Sassuolo from Victor Osimhen, scoring hat-tricks. It shows that what we saw at the African Cup of Nations is actually a different Victor Osimhen from what we are seeing right now. So it shows that ability to actually should I say it shows his versatility. He can actually play in various conditions. You be it as someone who is just as a lone striker, charging at defenders.
I think at the Nations Cup,
yeah,
he was even the one creating chances for himself.
Yeah,
they were chances were being created for him. He was doing a yeoman's job.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's by the way. But Osimhen we know is good any day.
Yeah,
And
anytime.
he's proving that right away.
Yeah.
Another name that we should look out for in the next future, George Elenike. Over the weekend, he scored 2 goals. Yesterday, he scored 2 goals for Real Antwerp. They are in the finals of the Belgian Cup.
Yeah.
This is a 17-year-old or 18-year-old player, bought from French second division, I think Amiens, if I'm not mistaken, but I know the French second division side,
Yeah.
by Royal Antwerp. And he has taken the league by storm. Even the Champions, he scored a Champions League goal before they were knocked out.
Yeah.
He played against likes of Barcelona, and he was not phased at all. He held his own, though they lost. But then, this one player that is in the goals at the moment, a player for the future. But I don't really know if he is interested in playing for Nigeria for now, because I understand that he was raised in France, but that's how they always say. Sometimes he comes back home is home.
Yeah.
But then he is really doing very well
Yeah.
for Antwerp. And also good to know that Ejuke, Chidera Ejuke,
Yeah.
has picked up his career there.
Yeah.
Being part of the fixture recently. And so Alassane Yusuf,
That's why
Nations Cup.
yeah.
So with and of course there's a new player Udo that is there, one Nigerian and that. So with 4 Nigerians pulling the strings to Antwerp.
Yeah.
Antwerp were defending league champions and the finals of Belgian Cup.
yeah.
So a good one for Nigeria all the way.
Yeah, a good one, and you can actually say that the future is bright for Nigeria Super Eagles. With what we are seeing, depending on how these guys decide to switch. You're talking about the George right now. We also have
Zexi of Bologna.
Yeah,
Talking of
Bologna.
who
There's
says
also
that if Netherlands don't play ball,
Yeah.
we switch to Nigeria.
yeah. There's another young defender playing for Fiorentina right now. Kayode.
Yes.
And you look at the young man at Bayer Leverkusen as well. Nathan Teller. As a matter of fact, say it was
he's already played for Nigeria.
Yes, I'm talking about how the future looks for Nigeria. So if you can actually galvanize all these players together, you also have to look at Olise as well. Olise is still available to play for Nigeria. You also have to look at there are quite a lot of them out there that are doing so well at their various clubs, which is why I said, as far as the future of the Super Eagles is concerned, it's actually quite bright. There's also Solake as well, who is still available to play for Nigeria.
Sort out the Super Eagles coaching job.
Yeah.
We have a good coach.
Yeah.
That will now harness all these talents together to get the best out of them. This is where we drop anchor on the show today, Sports Vision 360. Thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed your time with us. Please, if you did, join us same time next week for another interesting edition. I want to thank Oscar Romero for being part of the show, and of course the entire production crew who have worked marvelous to go behind the scene, and Donald Agbavobo. Enjoy the rest of the day.